Right, so, alright, so let's talk about it. So how did you guys do this week? This week was kind of short because of the holiday. It threw things off a little bit. Not really, but, threw it off a little bit. Personally, I only took one trade for the week, so I was able to get one in. Not mad at all. Which is actually one of the things I want to talk about a little bit. About I know people that talk about wanting to do this full time. Dealing with not taking trades at all, that's just one of the things that we deal with. But I want to give my perspective on that in more detail because I think it's important to just kind of be aware so that you can mentally prepare yourself for when that inevitably does take place and you actually are doing this, full time for a living. Benito say he's 0-0 for the week, 9 months, no losses. That's hard right there, damn. That is hard. Let me go back. Man. That's something that's really amazing. At the same time, it's something that I'm expecting to happen. Just hearing more stories about how people are not losing trades. It's not about how many trades you're winning. It's about the consistency of not losing any trades. And then what that ultimately ends up meaning for you. It's very strong, man. It's very strong. What's up, Mickey? What's up, Tammy? What's up, Matthew? I can vote. I see you. What's up, Michael? Yeah, but the consistency of not only when you do trade, you win, but the consistency also of not losing trades at all. That's a very powerful thing because what it ultimately means is you're not spending a lot of time, you're not wasting a lot of time backpedaling, trying to make up for losses, that you experience in the market simply because, you happen to be impatient at the time. The reason that people lose, the reason that someone is ultimately going to lose is primarily because they don't have patience. That's the reason. So it's really not anything else that is the main factor in it aside from that. You don't have patience, so therefore, you get impatient when it comes to the waiting period that you have to deal with as part of your job. If you're on these charts and you're being trained not only to find or to wait for winning trades to come, but you're being trained primarily not to lose your trades. This is a very important aspect of what we do because it's the not losing aspect that creates the long-term success for you. That's what you have to look forward to. The fact that, if you're looking at this in terms of it being a business for you, think of not losing as, keeping your expenses or keeping your costs lower than what your profits are at all times. Just imagine that in a traditional business for a moment. Let's say you own the business. You always have positive cash flow, meaning that you always make more than what you're spending. So if your income is always greater than your output, you have a profitable business at all times. When it comes to us trading, when you position yourself this way, this is what you're creating. So the not losing aspect of what we do is very important. People don't really appreciate the value of that until they really begin to get into the training deeper and deeper and begin to really internalize it. then they begin to realize that that's, like an integral part of the reason that you're going to be successful over the long term. The fact that you're not spending or wasting time trying to make up for losing trades that you only lost simply for the fact that you were not patient and willing to wait for the market to give you trades. Like that's huge. That's huge. That's a big important thing, man, right there. You have to learn to appreciate that more than anything. The fact that you don't have to do what the majority of everyone else is doing as far as, taking trades, lose trades, then you got to make up for what you lost. In the process of you making up for what you lost, you might lose again. That's like just spinning your wheels. You're just running around in a hamster wheel, and you don't have to do that. Especially when you're being trained not to do that. So, what's up, Slob? I see Slob. What's up, T-Nuke? I see Shane Allen. Yeah, so what's happening, y'all? What's up, Jeffrey? What's up, Norman? What's up, Winston? So how'd you guys do this week? And I'm very interested in hearing like where you guys feel that you're elevating to as far as where the training is taking you, because that's another benchmark to use. Like when you get light bulbs, I want you guys to share what was actually lit up. Like what did you have light shed on? What was the light bulb moment that you had? Like this week, for example. It's important to discuss that because there's a lot of things that you're going to be learning in the process of training. Not just about the market, but about yourself also. Like this, it's an all-inclusive thing, What's up, Kevin? Definitely an all-inclusive thing. The training aspect of it is so powerful. It's powerful because training gives you the reinforcement that you need for this to be a long-term business for you. Like for trading to be a long-term thing for you, and by long-term, I'm talking about once you get in position and you've established the level of income that you kind of, that you're going to be at, the ability to consistently generate that income, that's what you're training to become. You're training to become that trader that is always in the right position. Like all of the things that you would mess up on when it counts, you want to do that in the beginning part, when you're in the training phase. You want to make all your mistakes early. So whatever it is that you need to go through personally to elevate and to kind of like lift yourself up mentally, you need to do that in the beginning. Because you don't want to get into the whole course of action where you start trading and then you still got bad habits that you've created that you got to get rid of. Like you don't want to have to backpedal and undo some of the stuff that you did within your training process. You don't want to have to do that. So it's good to talk about these things, like talk it out. You know what I mean? Mickey said hard to see others' comments. However, the stability exercises gives me a much better take on chart time and nuances. Very nice. What's happening, Thomas? Norman said he's not trading yet, just a lot of training. Number 301. On repeat. 301 is like, man. 301 is just like, it's like going to church with the Bible. You know how people, when they go to church, they carry their Bible with them? That's what 301 is for us. Slav said, I'm thinking once I can start with the demo after some training and getting the basics to start practicing the demo. Definitely. He said, I'll be trying to record every time I go for a trade for people to give feedback or opinions on how I'm doing so far for pointing out mistakes. Exactly. Yeah, and I'm actually glad that you're saying that, Slide, because that's a very, very integral and important part of your training process is recording. You know, when you record the activity that you do, it's powerful training for all of us, but it's definitely powerful training for yourself, because when you record, the video is recording what you're doing at that moment and what your thought process might be right then and there. And this is another thing I talk about too, about like talking. Like when you're recording and you're going through your process, talk, like speak through it, so that all of that comes on the recording also, because that's going to come in so valuable later on. Like that's going to come in and it's going to just be powerful when you play it back. And like I said, not just for you, but for whoever's watching, they can hear your process as you're talking through. That's some powerful stuff right there. Very powerful. Winston said, my light bulb moment is slow means each second where time moves faster than the price. Watch and observe micro pips, and when you see 3 to 7 micro pips in price movement, that is closer to chicken dinner. Nice. Thomas said, what's up? I had to take a break for a couple of weeks. What video should I be reviewing this weekend? Well, definitely 301. But also, if you look on the YouTube channel, the live I did yesterday, like there was a live I did today. Matter of fact, let me see. Let me get the number of the video. Actually, it's the one from today. Matter of fact, I didn't even number it yet because I didn't edit it or anything yet. But the live from yesterday, I think it was 71. Let me see something. Yeah, 71. Look on the YouTube channel, the one that says YouTube Live Market Commentary, Volume 71. You need to watch that. I encourage you all to watch that. That was the one from yesterday. Powerful. Just powerful. So incorporate number 301 and that video into your watch list, like for this weekend. Like you're gonna get some powerful nuggets out of that video. Some powerful stuff, man. Slob said maybe a 1 to 2 minute recap, so not a lot of time wasting. Right. I'll be recording every time I go for trades. If it's demo, or if it's 40 minutes long or an hour or whatever, then I cut the trade down to about 5 minutes and I'll talk about it, what I did, why I went for it, or why it looked to me. Yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Cut the video down and do a summary. Exactly. Yep, that's powerful. That's like the format right there to use for training. Absolutely. That's solid right there. What's up, Ash? Winston said, my next mastery is option pricing. Wait for it. Wait. Patience. That's it. Jeffrey said, this week's understanding layers of stability allow you to keep your arms folded, knowing the timing is not quite there yet. Confidence and patience. Bam. Mickey said 378 to 379 are superb videos for option prices, exercises, and training. Definitely. Yeah, this week, that's one thing that I was glad that we did. We focused on utilizing the tools. Like the OPE is a very powerful tool. And also just looking at, when you're looking at the platform and you're doing it without the chart up, you're just looking at the indicative and you do your study and your observation with just that, that's insane. Like, that's going to elevate your understanding of everything. It's going to elevate you, without a doubt. But yeah, so this week was crazy to me for training. It really was. And that's one thing that I like that the market does by default. Like, when we have periods where we don't see a lot of opportunities in the market for us, those are always real solid training weeks. Like, really solid training weeks. And that's what happened this week, definitely. Slav said, does the market close with NADEX every Friday and Saturday? Yeah, it closes on Friday at 4. The platform shuts down at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard, and then it reopens on Sunday. So when it reopens on Sunday, we'll do training on Sunday night, because it will reopen on Sunday at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard. Yeah, 4 o'clock. Yep, 4 p.m. And then we still train all weekend anyway. It don't even matter. Like, the market be closed, but that gives you an opportunity, like, to go into whatever level of training that you want to go to. You know, training videos, the YouTube live. Like, it's so much that is available to you for training that's gonna just, it's like a non-stop flow of energy that's propelling you, where your skill is increasing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what's crazy about the way that the skill works, when in your mind you think you're not using it right now, like you think that, like, you don't see the results of the skill yet because you're not trading off of the skill just yet. But make no mistake about it, it's the development and the growth of the skill that is way more powerful than what you're going to be able to do with it later. Like, when you get to the point where you begin to execute, and now it's like you're trading, by the time you get there, the execution is gonna be flawless. Like, you see how when you guys see me trading, like, the Blueprint Project is a prime example of how it looks. Like, you can look at the Blueprint Project and, like, you know, you just sit back and be like, damn, that looks crazy what he's doing. But I'm not doing anything different. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what I'm doing is not anything that is so incredible or extraordinary that you guys are not being trained to do. This is what you're being trained to do. So the way that you see the execution process smooth and consistent, you know, you see me taking trades, and when you look at how the market looked, it's giving you more information by looking at how the market looked when I took the trade versus just looking at the trade that I took or how many contracts were on the trade. You know, like, that's what people naturally will do. They're like, oh man, he took that trade with 34 contracts, but look at how the market looked on the trade. That's where the real value is, looking at how the market actually was behaving at the time, looking at what the environment looked like. That's giving you the reason behind why I would take the trade at that time. You see? There was a couple of weeks ago where we was having a discussion about, you know, like, there's no such thing as a good trade. And that's something crazy to say, because it's like, what? But when you think about it, and this is how I want you guys to think. I want you to think outside the box. Like, when you think about it, that is 100% accurate. Like, there is no such thing as a good trade. What's the reason that someone wins or loses a trade? It's the timing, right? You ever see somebody take a trade, or even yourself, you might have taken a trade before and the trade set up the way they were supposed to, it looked great. You know, you're like, oh, this trade this is beautiful. This trade is set up nicely, man. This is gonna be beautiful. Chicken dinner. And then you take the trade and the market does something crazy. And what the market does is reposition itself relative to your strike price, and you end up losing the trade. And you're like, yo, what was that? Right? So it's like you're looking at the market trying to figure out why. But in actuality, if you were observing the market the whole time, you more than likely would have not even taken that trade, because you would have seen that the time was not right. And this is what I mean about there's no such thing as a good trade. Because if you get in the mind frame of trying to find good trades, that's when you'll position yourself to become vulnerable to what the market is capable of doing. And that's why you never want to do that. You always want to position yourself in the market at the right time. So your job is to recognize whether or not now is the right time. Well, how do we do that? Interpretation. That's where your study and your observation comes in. Everything you're being trained to do is leading up to you doing that well, which is recognizing whether or not now is the right time to even be in the market if a trade were to set up. Then on top of that, you also have, what's up Tiffany? What's up Randy? What's up Stacy? On top of that, you also have, oh, what's up Wendell? I see you too. You also have the fact that even when the market presents the right timing for you, right? Like you see everything is setting up as far as environment and behavior. Even when that happens, it still doesn't mean a trade will come. You see, like you understand how mentally you have to always just be okay with the market either giving it up or not giving it up. It doesn't matter which one the market decides to do. If the market decides to not give it up, that means you should have not taken any trades. If the market does give it up, you're going to see that and you'll be in those trades. That's it. It's like literally that's exactly the order that we do our entire process in, just like that. Which is, I'm telling you, that is insane. Because what you're basically saying is that you're going to allow the market to lead you into profits. Not, oh, I'm going to trade and I'm going to kill this market. Nobody's here to kill the market. As soon as people go into the market with that mindset, they get killed. We ain't going to end up like that. We're going to put the market on a pedestal, and we're going to have the utmost respect for the market and allow the market to lead us into where the money is going to be. That's it. That's what our job is. That's why when you'll see what it is. This week is a good example. You know, we ended up having a holiday or whatever yesterday. What's up, Corey? We ended up having a holiday, so this week was kind of thrown off a little bit. You know, on top of that, like for me personally, I just had other stuff to do, so I wasn't on the charts as often as I would have been. So, you know, I took one trade for the week. I'm not upset about that. It's like, well, Mark, you're supposed to get one trade a day. Nah, I didn't get one trade a day this week. I got one trade and I'm cool. And it's like, you know, like, I'm good with that. So it's like developing that mindset where you're not concerned about if the market didn't give you anything for the week or for the time that you were on the charts for or whatever. Be okay with it. The fact that you didn't lose any money and all your money stayed in your account, that is more valuable over the long term, the long stretch. Remember, this is a marathon. It's more valuable for you not to lose and try to make it back up than it is for you to try to take trades and force trades when the market is not giving you permission to do so. It's way more valuable to do the first thing that I said. versus that right there that I just said at the end. Trying to force your way in, dead it. None of that. None of that. Slav said, my biggest fear right now is once I get most of the training down, that I'll be incorporating it, and using the steps from what I learned, but still will lose trades. Just overcoming that and learning why it happened. Slav, you ever heard the expression, there's nothing to fear but fear itself? Right now, you being afraid of being afraid. It's like you haven't even gotten to that point and you already thinking with fearful intent about that point when you do get there. Don't do that. Just don't, if that's the case, don't even think about it. Like, don't even think about it at all. Just train. That's it. Let the training get into you, and you're going to, by default, you're being conditioned and being trained to not lose. So look at what you just said. You're afraid of the very thing that you're being trained not to do. The whole training is intended to guide you into a position where you won't lose through a myriad of different things. It's not just one layer to it. There's multiple layers to it. It includes yourself. It includes your interpretation of the market. It includes the market itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it includes you developing patience, discipline, focus. This is what you're training for. So it's like, don't even worry about it. That's really what I'm getting at more than anything. Carrie said, great content. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Slav said, that's all I want to be able to get through. I think that will make me calm down a bit and not worry about that. And you're going to get there. Like, it's impossible for you to be around this anyway and for you to not elevate. The day going to come where you're just going to stop doing it. Like, you're going to just stop being scared. And you'll say it. You'll let us know. You're like, yo, I'm not even scared no more. Like it is what it is. I've come to the realization that it is what it is. So I'm not even scared no more. It's going to happen. I'm telling you. That is going to happen. Come on, phone. What's up, Gervin? Let me see what I thought I saw Wendell say something a minute ago. Wendell said, I do that now. I now love it. Can tell what the candle gonna look like before I open the chart. Exactly. Yeah, that's a powerful exercise that we do. You know, when we have the chart, we have the chart off, so you can't see it, and then we go through our process, and we do, the behavioral study, and then we're gonna know what the candle actually looks like on the chart. When you go back to the chart, the candle looks exactly the way that you described, and you understand it because you actually did it by just looking at the price. Come on, man. Like, this is a whole nother level of skill, man. He said, I want to get to be just like you in the Blueprint Project. No matter how long and hard I gotta train, I'm willing to wait. You see, that's what I love about this. Like, you're going to get there. It's not even a matter of if. It's impossible for you to just be around this and it don't happen. You understand what I'm saying? The only way it ain't gonna happen is you not around this. If you take yourself outside the environment, now it's like, all right, well, I understand, but you're not here no more. If you stay around, it's inevitable, man. Mick said, when you're able to scale up 1 trade a week is equivalent reaping the benefits of taking roughly 30 trades in the income phase. Crazy, man. See, the way that I look at the phases, like the growth phase, the income phase, the growth phase is a set number of trades. Like, it's X amount of trades when you flip. And this is, like, I explain all of this inside those videos. The flip is simple. when you get to double the account size of where it was when you started that series of trades, you double the contract size. So you start at 100, you at one contract. When you get from 100 to $200, at $200, you double the contract size. So now, if it took you 6 trades to get from 100 to 200, it's gonna take you 6 trades to get from 200 to 400. You see what I'm saying? It's just flipping. It's gonna take the same number of trades to get from 4 to 8. Same number to get from 8 to 16. Same number to get from 16 to 32. Because you're flipping. you're just turning it over. Same trades, same execution, same process. Nothing changes. The only thing changing is the scale up. You're giving more value to the trades as you move along. That's it. And that's like, that's remarkable because it's like, oh snap, we got a way to flip. Yeah, you got a way to flip. And the thing about it is that all you need to do is just maintain your focus more than anything. The more focused that you remain, the faster it happens. Like, just to put it in perspective, the timing of how I did it, it took 36 days. Now, if you think about it, it's like, well, 36 days, damn, I was like a little over a month. Yeah. Like 36 calendar days, not trading days. 36 days, like from May 12th to June 18th or whatever day it was. 103K. Now, mind you, all of the execution and the whole process, did it change up? Did it change when I went from 1 contract to 2? Nope. Did it change when I went from 2 to 4? Nah. Nothing. What changed? Nothing. What changed in the process? Absolutely nothing. The only thing that you're doing is you're increasing the contract size as you move along and you're scaling up. That's it. And then once you get to that position where you now can shift into the income phase, look at what you did to get there. Now you just repeat the same process while you're in the income phase. And look at what your results could be. You see what I'm saying? Now, the way that I look at the income phase is in more detail because, and this is what I was talking about yesterday. When you're in the income phase, let's assume that you actually don't get 1 trade a day. Like what I like to do, I like to not make assumptions. What is it going to look like if you don't trade every day? Like at that contract size, when you're in the income phase, let's say that instead of trading once a day, you only get an opportunity, instead of 5 trades for the week, you only end up with 2. Let's just say for purposes of the example I'm giving you right now. So you end up with 2 trades for the week. That's about $1,200 for the week. So you missed the mark, but you still ended up making about $1,200 for the week. That's a good problem. Like you understand the psychology of where I'm going? It's like you missed the goal, but you still ended up making $1,200 for the week. That's how you want to position yourself. You want to position yourself where you're not under pressure. Not being under pressure is invaluable because it allows you to maintain your focus. See, the reason that people will get into the losing and all of that is because their focus shifts. When your focus shifts away from what you should be doing, it moves to something else that will cause you to slip up. So don't ever put yourself in a position where you're going to be stressed out and you're going to lose your focus. You see? So being in a stressful situation, like making this stressful for yourself, that's a no-no. Don't do that. Don't do that. What's up, Dame? Don't do that. Flip that around. Turn that around. Instead of making it stressful, make it stress-free. Oh, you know I'm clipping that, right? Instead of making it stressful, make it stress-free. Yeah, let's go. That's hard right there. That's bars. Matthew, what up, man? Buddha's he in the building. He came at the perfect time. Set off these nuggets real quick. What's happening, Ernst? But yeah, so that's how, you know, and it's like that's a part of it also. Positioning yourself. The way that, however you position yourself when you're in the training phase, that's where you're gonna end up being in position when you move on. Like when you go into the phase where you actually now are trading. You're taking trades now, you know, and I don't mean trading right away. I mean, you know, you might start on demo, then you do live paper trading, and then eventually you start trading live. I mean, if you just follow just the format of the blueprint alone, you know, the blueprint is the same format that was used for every other challenge that I ever did. From the very first challenge I ever did, it started with $100. So the format always been the same. But the reason that the blueprint is so, like, it just blows your mind is because it has incorporated every aspect and dynamic of what you will experience throughout your process. Like through your growth and development as a trader, you're going to elevate. So as you move through your process, all of the elevation that you experience is being archived. Like it's with you. So it's not like you move on to the next level and the level that you come from is gone. The level that you're coming from is incorporated into the new level. So it's like you're absorbing all of the most relevant things that are gonna build you up and to elevate you continuously. It's kind of like if you know how you're. What's a good example to use? When you learn how to ride a bike, once you get it, you got it, right? Like you could have learned how to ride a bike when you was 12 years old, and then don't ride a bike for 10 years. Don't ride a bike from like age 13 to 20, and then when you turn 20, you get on a bicycle and you just riding the bike again, like it's nothing. So none of the stuff that you're, you know, that's a part of your process as you train is being forgotten about as you elevate. It all carries over with you. It's transferred into the new you. So you're absorbing it as part of your process. And it's there for a reason. It's there to help to continuously lift you up and to build you so that you can accelerate, not even accelerate, but you can advance to the next level. And this just goes on continuously. Continuously. Jeffrey says stress-free equals freedom. Stress-free equals freedom. What's happening, Bert? Bingo. Matthew said the blueprint allows you to see real-time possibility. Yep. It's like seeing moving parts. Like it's one thing that to see the parts like laid out. When you see the parts moving in the engine is running, you see the moving parts in the engine that make the engine run. You're able to see the parts moving. That's what it's like. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's powerful, man. It's just powerful stuff. Mick said muscle memory equals what not to do. Patience, discipline, power. That's hard. Matthew said it's going to either push you to focus or get thirsty and prolong the progress. Sound like the crossroads, right? That right there further validates why training and reinforcement is so necessary. Even though you're being brought directly into what exactly to do, just the fact that you still have a choice means that you can choose to deviate for whatever reason. Nobody knows why, only you know. And sometimes even you don't know why. But the fact remains that you made the choice to deviate for whatever reason and give into your thirst or your temptation to do something else. Training and reinforcement is like the fuel that keeps the engine burning, that damn near forces you not to do that. It's almost like you're being held so accountable, and you don't want to break that. Like, you don't want to break your accountability, so you won't do certain things. That's another reason why, like, it's so powerful to be plugged into the group. Because when you do that, you're being held accountable by others in the group, like by all of us. And we're each holding one another accountable. So the more that we do that, you know, it just reinforces and it creates a loop. Like it's like a hula hoop. It's just this. And as soon as you get in it, now you're part of this. If you close yourself off from that, you left by yourself, like really to kind of fend for yourself. Even though you have the training, you still got to deal with yourself by yourself. And this is something that is kind of crazy when you think about it. It's like, wait, you're right, because yeah, I can't even run away from myself. Like, how many times have you spoken to somebody, right? And maybe even somebody in the group. I know I've talked to a bunch of people that are in the group with us. And they're like, Mark, I don't understand why I keep doing this. And I'm like, you keep doing it because, you know, you are not being held accountable. You're just not being held accountable. You need to stay close to the fire that's in the group. When you do that, it forces you to be accountable now. Because now it's not just you by yourself. If you left to deal with yourself alone, you got a problem. You got a problem when you're thirsty and you don't know how to deal with the thirst. You got a long road ahead of you. This is why people continue to do it. It's almost like how, you know, you talk to your kids literally every single day for years. Years. You talk to them every day about the same things, yet they still do it. And it's like, why? Why do you continue to do what I'm telling you not to do? And it's because they have to eventually tap into the part of themselves where it clicks and it connects. Now, when children don't have that guidance, where they're being told to not do it, you know what'll happen? They'll grow up and they'll become an adult that just will continue to do all of that nonsense. But you talking to them for years and years and years, even though it seemed like they're not going to do it, guess what happens? They, one day, out of nowhere, they stop doing it. And it's like, well, what was that? Like, it took you that long to stop doing it. And if you think about the process, yes, that's exactly what happened. It takes so much time to condition yourself at the different mental levels that you have, like your subconscious level, your conscious level. Then the higher conscious level is fighting against the lower. Like, it's just a lot of stuff that's going on at the same time. And if you left to deal with that by yourself, you really have a problem if you're functioning and you're operating from your lower conscious. Because your lower conscious is just simple. Oh, I want to make money right now. I'm getting this money today. Oh, I got a bill I need to pay. I'm getting some money. And you'll do stupidity trying to get to that money. And instead of you getting to that money, you end up losing more than what you started with in the first place. And it's just retarded. Like, you just end up looking stupid. You end up looking stupid to yourself. And then if you tell someone else about it, you really just look stupid because now you feel embarrassed about it. You're like, yo, I can't believe I did this. It's because you are dealing with it by yourself. So, for anybody that's like dealing with a lot of personal things that they feel like they don't have enough within themselves to deal with it. Like, that's why we're here. We're here for that. That's why there's a group. That's what the group is supposed to be for. That's why I tell y'all, like, yo, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Don't be scared to ask nothing. If you got a question about something, ask the question. Nobody's going to judge you or anything like that. You know what I mean? All of that is necessary for so many of us because it's a part of us as human beings that we always have to deal with. You always got to deal with yourself. You can do it alone, or you can use the help and support of people that are willing to be there for you. You know what I mean? So I definitely want you guys to just always be mindful of that, because it's not easy to deal with yourself by yourself. It's not. It is not. Especially if you're prone to be retarded. Like, some of us know that we're just more prone to just do stupid stuff. We know it. Matthew said at some point you have to save you. At some point. Yep. But yeah, so and that's another thing too about the process that I wanted to mention. When you're dealing with the process, there is a delay. And this is hard. Like, this point that I'm about to make, this is hard. This took me a long time really to understand in more detail. But because I'm analytical, I study and process things long enough until I get it. So, when you're dealing with the process has a delay period. In other words, even though you're in the process of doing something, right? And for us, it's training. You're in the process of training, but it seems as if you're not getting anywhere yet, right? It's like there's a period of time that goes by where it seems like it's not working. In your own head, you're like, I don't know if this is working for me. It causes you to question yourself, causes you to doubt yourself, and it causes you to doubt the process. But listen to me. The process works. How do you know that? Me. If you have an example of something that actually worked, that's the proof that it works. The fact that you see it working. You see it, not only it didn't work once, it continues to work. All right, if that's the case, then there's a process that led up to it working. What's the process? That's why I pour into training the way that I do, because I'm pouring in the process so that you can now duplicate the process. This is deep right here. It's the duplication of the process that ultimately will position you to experience the results. It's not you doing the process that gets you the results. It's you going through the process that positions you later, not now. There's a delay period. Within that delay period, you going through all of the shit that you gotta go through in order for you to elevate and accept it. You mentally, you can't even accept it yet. You can't even process what it is yet. And I know that for a fact because people, just from how people will talk about like the things that they see me do, they're like, man, you know, one day I wish I could be like that. No, you don't have to wish. This is what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to wish that you can do what I do or be like how I am. If you go through the process, it's the process that will bring you there. It's not you hoping that you'll get there that's going to bring you there. It's the process. The process that I'm giving you through the blueprint. The process that I'm giving to you through the training. That's why when you plug into everything that's available to you, like look at everything that's here. You got the training, you got the group, and you have it on repeat. It's just non-stop. It never stops. It's on repeat, heavily. On repeat. Just repetition. That's the nature of how you learn. You learn through repetition. So the fact that you are going through the process, and I say this all the time, it's impossible for you to be around this, like plugged into this environment and it's not working. It's impossible. That's not the case. All you got to do is stay. Just stay in it. That's it. But I'm telling you, that delay process is something that you will think about, and for some people it discourages them and it makes them feel like it's not working. But I'm telling you that it is working. That delay process is supposed to be there. It's not something that is, you know, letting you know, oh, well, you know, I don't think it's going to work for me. It is going to work for you. As a matter of fact, it's already working for you. And that's another reason why when you follow the steps of just different things that we have to use as tools, you know, like recording. That's one powerful tool, recording what you're doing. It's just like you can tell me all day what you did. I'm like, yo, what time did you take that trade? Oh, I took it at such and such time. Was it MRMH? Yeah, it was at such and such time. Okay. That's different than if you have the recording. Like, yo, this is what I did right here. Boom. It's right there for us to look at. Now we can actually look at it. We can see what the market looked like, the environment of the market and all of that. And then we see what you did. And if you talk through it, we can even listen to what your process was. You realize how much that is going to elevate you? Just the fact that you did that. It might be 1 or 2 trades that you did that for. We go back and we go through the whole process of it and we break that down together. That's going to elevate you and it's going to accelerate your learning curve. It's not going to slow it down, it's going to speed it up. So just like little things like that, you know, the more of those things that we're doing, the easier that the process becomes. So that delay that's within the process, it becomes smaller and smaller. And you actually begin to start seeing your own progress and your own progression. And then that gives you more and more confidence. Now that's actually giving you confidence and strength, you know, to continue to push. When you don't see it, that's why you're doubting it. You're doubting yourself and you're doubting the process. And it's important that you understand that that's what goes on, because it'll keep you solid. Like, you're not moving, you're not going anywhere. Like, I'm here and that's it. Like, it's not optional. You just stay. Train. Rinse. Repeat. Oh, did you watch 301 again? Yep. Oh, did you watch it again? Yep. It's like, why we keep watching 301? You know what? I ain't even gonna ask why. I'm gonna just watch it again. Then out of nowhere, light bulbs start coming on. Like it's amazing, man. The way that it just comes into fruition is crazy. It's crazy. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling y'all. Matthew said the energy used hoping and wishing could have been applied to doing. Insanity. And the reason that's ill is because it is the same energy. It's not something different. It's the same exact energy. It's just the same force that you had, that you're using to hope. Oh, I hope it works. Man, I wish I could do what Mark does. That same energy you can just use to train with. Don't say anything. Just train. Keep training. Keep training. It's like non-stop. Non-stop. Matthew said, once you crush all of your fears, the limits will leave you. Let that sink in. Jesus. Slob said, don't let the guys that sat behind you hear what you say, Mark. They're going to try to get it on this trading train. Everybody in here be looking at me. Like, if you look over there, like, literally everybody over there is looking at me right now. They're like, who is he talking to? Then they see the phone, they realize that I'm talking into the phone. Yeah, it's all good though, man. It is all good. Elevation, man. Elevation. But yeah, so like next week coming up, I'm sure once again it will be another awesome week. It just constantly gets better, especially the fact that we just continuously are in a non-stop elevation where we just constantly moving up. As we move up, things always become easier for us to do. Everything gets easier for you that was more difficult for you last week, for example. Last week you might have been struggling with patience. As soon as we move into next week, because you're plugged in, you get a little bit more patience. Like, it's gradual, and that's another thing too. Appreciate the small gains that you make. You just could have simply recognized that you have more patience now than you did a week ago. That's huge. That's not small. That's progression. You can actually see that you got more patience now than you had last week. Come on, man. It's the small things. It's the small things. Do that type of stuff instead of, things like that. It's taking me a long time to get this. I don't want it to take me 2 years. Let me tell you something. You know how fast 2 years go by? Snap your fingers, it's already 2 years later. Like, I kid you not, it goes fast. So don't spend your time worrying about how long it's going to take you. Do what you need to do in order for it to happen throughout the process. That's all you got to do. And you begin to stop thinking about time and how long, when. All of these things start to just melt off, and you just focus on the work. Like, you just put the work in and focus on what you need to do, and that's it. And that's how you continuously remain in the elevation loop. And your elevation is just always there. It just is what it is. Solid, man. Solid as a rock. Mick said, I really hope that people take the time, ask the group the things you don't understand. You will always get the help you need. That's truly powerful to me. Strengthens the intensity of the vibration that keeps this digital organism alive. Life is finite. With that said, what you can accomplish with TA is infinite. Damn. Wow. Like I'm ready to end it right, just with that right there. That's hard. Slav said the hardest part is getting there. Once you're there, you're there. Come on, man. Come on, Slav. Slav, that's the hardest thing I heard you said so far. Listen to what he said. He said the hardest part is getting there. But once you're there, you're there. Yo, you know how much wisdom is in that? Woo. Sheesh. Christian, what up, man? Craziness. That was hard. That was hard. And that's another thing that I'm gonna start doing too. What I started to do was I started to kind of like write down stuff that people say to me early, and I copy it and I paste it like in a little thing that I have. And then as they grow and they progress through the training and what we're doing, at a later time, I'm gonna show it to them. Like I'm gonna show you something that you said to me that was crazy at the time. And you're gonna be like, damn, I said that? I'm telling you. You're not even gonna sound the same. Like the way that you sounding now, as soon as you get into training, first of all, the way that you sound at the very beginning, as you continue to move and progress, you start sounding different. The reason that you're sounding different is because you're becoming different. It's changing you. This is why every time that you watch a training video, you've elevated again every single time. Like you're not the same. When if you watched it twice today, you just went up 2 notches. Like that's how this works. The process is retarded. It's retarded. Bob said I wouldn't call the wisdom too young. See? Now, see that right there? That's what I'll copy right there. I'm gonna copy and paste that somewhere. Because I'm gonna show it to you at a later time. You're gonna be like, damn, why I said that? I was young and dumb. Yeah, but this is what we do, man. This is what we do. We elevate. We elevate. Yeah, this was good, man. All right, y'all. I'm getting up out of here. Let me get up out of here. Go get some dinner. Go relax. Chill out with the family. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna see y'all in training Sunday night. We'll be back at it. Y'all know what it is. Y'all enjoy your weekend. I'ma holler at you. From Starbucks. All right, y'all.